Welcome back. So now we have database tables, happy days. Now we just need to figure out how we can put data in there and read data back from the tables. We'll do that using repositories because that's what the repository is all about. It's about us reading and writing data to our tables in this case. So what I want to do is I want to create repositories. And if you guys remember, we actually had repositories in the old data solution as well. Then that was where the fake database was residing with these lists right here in memory. So we're going to do something similar, except that now we're going to use the DBContext to get to and save data in a database. We'll right click right here and we'll say class. I want to add a new repository in the EF core area, and I'm just going to call this the genre repository. There we go, we have the genre repository, and we'll just add that class. And the first thing I need in the genre repository is actually I need to dependency inject my context. So I'll make a public right here, genre repository, and because I'm going to need that DBContext, I'm going to write video application DBContext, call it CTX, just that's a good name, and then I'll make a local field for CTX right here and just call it CTX. I'll make the field read only and Alt Enter to kind of create that context right here. A second thing my repository needs is to be able to use the interface genre repository like this. If you don't have access to this one, you might have to do a reference for the project called domain right here. So if you don't have that reference, you might need it in order to get access to this one. But writers should help you until you need that reference as soon as you write genre repository like this. Then it complains that I don't have all the implementation members that I should, so I'll just implement missing members. And there we go. Now we have everything that a repository needs in order to call itself an genre repository. It just needs these properties right here. So that's nice. Now we have a genre repository, and we'll do the same now for a video repository. So I'll add a new class. I'll call it video repository. There we go. And this video repository right here is going to do the same thing as the genre repository. It's going to need a constructor, public video repository right here. It's going to pass in the video DBContext, call it context. And yes, you're right, we could do some super classes here to make it easier to reuse the code. I don't want to do that right now, but you can consider it later. This will be the iVideo repository like this. For now, let's just make a local property right here. I'll add the context. There we go. We have a field for that. And then the final thing we need is, of course, again, to implement all the missing members. And we need to handle more than just read and read by ID. Here, we need to actually add a few more things during the next lessons in order to start working with the database. There we go. So now we have the context. We need one more thing, and that's we want to switch now. Instead of using the old repositories from this old solution right here, I want to start using the new repositories in the new solution. And yes, you guessed it, I need to go all the way back to my startup file right here, and I need to start using, instead of the genre repository that I'm using right now, if you notice, let's go to that class. It's actually the genre repository from the old solution, the old way, this solution right here, the fake DB, and I want to start using the new solution. So what I'll do is, I'll go and I'll just remove the reference for that old solution. Let's get rid of it like this. And it'll ask me a question about where do you want to get the genre repository for then. And now I have two choices. I can choose the old solution or I can choose the new solution, which is called EF core. I'll pick this one, and then automatically my repositories are now actually using that solution or that package instead of what it used before. Sweet. That's pretty much all I had to do now. The repository isn't implemented and it's not being used yet, so now everything would still not work. Next lesson we'll start by just figuring out how we can do these different things with the context and actually start working with our database. So let's end it here and see you next time.